Hey, how's it going, friends? Thank you for tuning in to VR Revelations. Welcome. It is February the 16th, the year of our Lord, 2023. So, as I've been reporting for the past couple of days, the Russians are close to taking the city of Bakhmut. Now, everybody has their eyes right now on the situation because, of course, there's been ferocious fighting there for months now. We know that we're heading into the 1 year anniversary of the conflict. But really, what the Russians were doing is that they were trying to take other cities close to Bakhmut, such as Soledar to the north, because those were also key areas and what would eventually be a focus on Bakhmut, right? Because again, Bakhmut is a symbol of Ukrainian resistance. We saw Zelensky travel there to the city last year, I believe in December, and then it could have been in November, at the end of November or December, but I think it was December. He traveled there to the front lines, and then literally the day after, he flew outside of Ukraine for the first time since the conflict began, and pretty much made a speech in Congress, essentially asking for more aid. And at that time, he actually took a flag that was signed by soldiers there in the front lines. And Zelensky has been making a big deal about Bakhmut and how the Ukrainians have been holding their ground there. And just recently, he called the city a fortress, an impenetrable fortress. Now, the Russian offensive here is really too much. As you can see here by the live UA map, they pretty much have the city surrounded now. And as I reported in the last couple of days, Ukraine actually gave the order to stop aid from going into the city because it is now too dangerous. And then there were also reports that they started blowing up some bridges and also burning documents. And so pretty much all of that is evidence that, they're getting ready to leave the city. And again, the West is trying to downplay the importance of Bakhmut right now, as they have been foreshadowing the collapse of the city, right, for the last couple of days now. And so, again, the United States actually advised Zelensky to pull his troops out of Bakhmut a couple of weeks ago, essentially letting him know that they thought it would be best if he pulled the troops out of there and saved them for a future conflict. But again, Zelensky had already made such a big deal, and probably due to his own stubbornness, just came out a couple of days ago saying that they were going to fight in the city to the last soldier. But now it is like he might quite possibly be coming to his senses. And so pretty much the soldiers in this area are just waiting for the order to leave the city, because they can't leave until they are giving the order to retreat, or else you're pretty much seen as a traitor. And so now, War News here, 24/7 is reporting that it looks like Ukrainians are retreating, and they've decided that they are going to pretty much burn everything to the ground, to give themselves a smoke screen, but also, as it tends to be the objective with a scorched earth strategy, to destroy everything so that the enemy doesn't grab or make use, of the houses, of the buildings, or the crops or whatnot. But it's very interesting because there are still a few Ukrainian civilians there in the city. Now, this isn't the first time it has actually happened. It has happened in other cities. And I did read an article, I forgot what it was, in one of my videos. I'm not sure if it was the Washington Post or the Wall Street Journal, but they actually did some honest reporting in there. And what is happening is that because a lot of these people in these areas are Russian, right? they're not afraid of the Russians. They're sort of waiting for the Russians to come and take over, and a lot of them will, actually prefer to be under the authority of Russia. And so a lot of these people haven't left because they're sort of waiting to be delivered, right? Because they have been discriminated against by the Ukrainian government, and this is part of the internal conflict that has taken place in that area. And then of course there's a couple there that just haven't left because they've been living there their whole lives, and they probably don't have anywhere to go, and they're just hoping that they'll be allowed to stay there. Whoever takes over that area. But of course, I mean, it's dangerous, right? You have artillery taking place and stuff, and you would assume that if the Russians take over here, there's the Ukrainians are going to launch bombs into the area. But yeah, a lot of these people, they're sort of like pro-Russian, so it's pretty crazy now that all of a sudden Ukraine chose to, burn these houses, and essentially they're kicking these people out of there, kind of like forcing them to leave against their own will, because it's their houses, but the government is forcing them. And as we're about to read here, I guess they are sort of marking the houses and telling people to leave. So let's go ahead and read the article. It says, the Ukrainian delivers scorched earth to Bakhmut as he informed the town's few residents to pack their belongings because their houses will be set on fire to create a smokescreen against the Russian army. This decision, as you can see in the video, has been plastered over houses. The Russian cordon around Bakhmut is narrowing dangerously. Wagner's forces entered Barakovyevka and occupied the 208-meter hill outside Berkovka. Soon after, Russian forces also entered the settlement, which is located north of Bakhmut. Ukrainian sources say that Russian troops cut off MO3 Bakhmut-Slavyansk highway in the direction of Berkovka. The capture of the settlement of Barakovka, which is located in the north of Bakhmut, which will block the road to Chasiz Yar, the last route for the supply of Ukrainian troops. The head of Donetsk, D. Pushilin, said in his statements on the Russian TV channel 1, who in his recent statements had referred to the importance it would have if Russian soldiers could control this area. Now, again, the West is trying to downplay this area. Zelensky's been making a big deal out of it, and the Russians are also fighting like it's a big deal. And really, it does have some importance here. Of course, the Russians, once they take Bakhmut, will want to advance to Kramatorsk and Slavyansk next. At least it looks like that's what their next major battles, where their next major battles are going to be. But Bakhmut will be an important place for Russian troops to sort of organize and then continue to make their advances. And so it definitely has a strategic value operationally on the battlefield, but also at this point it's very important symbolically because, again, Zelensky has made such a big deal of Bakhmut. He's been sending a lot of forces there, and it looks like they are now retreating by all indications. And so it's going to be a major blow to Ukraine, even though they're going to deny it and the West is going to try and downplay it, and a major victory for the Russians. And so, while at the same time it's going to increase the morale on the Russian side, it's also going to serve to demoralize the Ukrainian war effort and also its allies, and then that can also lead to less support from other nations if they really don't see any hope in the whole matter, right? Although they will try to, probably keep this going as long as possible. I think once we see the collapse here of Bakhmut, then we're going to see a shift here. Already there's been a lot of silence in mainstream media. They really aren't reporting on the situation because, even though they claim they've killed a lot of Russian casualties that the Ukrainians have, really they have nothing to show for. They're not, launching a counteroffensive. They're not taking territory from the Russians or anything. On the contrary, they keep losing cities. And, they try to make it seem like, it's a failed operation because Putin didn't conquer Ukraine in 3 days, like they say he said. The facts are that Russia is advancing here, and it's about to deal a major blow here pretty soon. So anyways, let's read a little bit more here. It says 1,500 Ukrainian soldiers are trapped in Baraskivka. It remains to be seen if the Russian army will open an escape route for them. Then we have a video here. It says the situation in Bakhmut. So let's go ahead and take a look here. Let me lower the volume because sometimes they have music playing. Okay, let's check it out. It looks like a grenade of sorts was launched in the room. I can't tell if these are Russian soldiers or Ukrainian soldiers. I don't see any yellow armbands. Okay, I think these are Russian soldiers. Wait, I'm pretty sure the title told us, right? Let's see here. No, it just says the situation in Bakhmut, but I believe those are Russian soldiers there. Correct me if I'm wrong. Damaged Ukrainian convoy in Bakhmut. Okay, let's check this out. 7 seconds long. Okay, so that's supposed to be a Ukrainian vehicle there. Looks like an infantry vehicle. So a convoy was destroyed there. It goes on. Russian forces occupied all the heights in the area of Bakhmut. Russian units have captured all the heights near Bakhmut. At the disposal of the armed forces of Ukraine, there is only a small corridor through which they can supply their forces in the city. Igor Kimakovsky, advisor to the deputy head of Donetsk, emphasized. The main successes are near Bakhmut. Our guys have already conquered the main heights. The armed forces of Ukraine actually have a small runway, which is also controlled by us, which significantly hinders their maneuverability to bring in manpower and ammunition. Kimakovsky told the Russian broadcaster Zolivev Live TV. All right. So, looks like we have a video of a Wagner sniper there. You can go check that out yourself, guys. Wagner News 24/7. We have some pictures there via Twitter of some fallen Ukrainian soldiers, it looks like. Yeah, so, yeah, I mean, all signs point to a Ukrainian retreat here. It says the Ukrainians deliver scorched earth, burn the houses. The Ukrainian military is posting notices like the ones shown below, which we saw at the beginning, on houses in Bakhmut, saying on February 16th, this house will be burned to create a smokescreen against the Russian army. Collect everything that is useful by the specified date, because otherwise they will be destroyed, belongings together with the house. So if the people don't get out of the house, they'll burn them alive? Ukraine is losing the war so badly and so fast that they have to set people's houses on fire to create a smokescreen for their troops to escape under. Scorched earth maneuver. So it looks like here is a notice, guys. 11 seconds here for anybody that reads Russian or, again, Ukrainian. Forgive me if I'm getting those wrong. I don't even know if that's what you call the language. I'm assuming it is. But yeah, I mean, it definitely looks like a legit sign there. And again, it's pretty logical, you know, that if they are going to retreat, that they're carrying out these measures. That's certainly what the Russians did throughout their history. When Napoleon, you know, was close to conquering Russia, the Russians decided to actually destroy everything before they left. And so every time that Napoleon reached a city or whatnot, you know, he would find it in ruins, and he couldn't do anything useful there. So essentially, you know, he ended up overextending after a while, ran out of supplies, and then the Russian winter came and he was pushed back out. But yeah, it looks like the Ukrainians have done some history reading there. But yeah, this is a tactic that you know, has been used before in war. But however, it usually precedes you know, a retreat. So yeah, we have some pictures of the maps there. But yeah, there you have it, guys. Again, just 2 days ago, I believe, I released a video talking about how Ukraine gave the order to stop all aid going into the city because it was too dangerous. They started burning documents, they blew out some bridges, and now it looks like they're burning houses. So it looks like they might have received an order to leave Bakhmut here, guys. Again, it might not necessarily be televised or appear on the mainstream media. I would certainly imagine that they probably wouldn't want to cover something like that. So this order could have came in secretly, and they might be slowly leaving. Sorry, they might slowly be leaving the city now. So yeah, that's going to be it for this video, guys. I am making the videos a little bit later in the day, so yeah, just keep that small change in mind there. But anyways, thank you for tuning in. Please give this video a like and make sure you subscribe so you can get notifications of my videos. That's going to be it. Have a wonderful day. And remember, the truth is stranger than fiction. God bless.